understand that we are living under the New Testament, man?
Jesus came and fulfilled the Old Testament, though.
Jesus came to
He
fulfill
fulfilled
the Old Testament. But you under a new covenant now.
We're going to deal with that.
Do you understand? Do you understand that you under a new covenant?
Yeah, we're going to deal with that.
Yeah. But do you understand that?
Yeah, we understand that.
Yeah. Okay.
The book of Galatians says don't live under the old law.
Do you live by the old or do you live by the new?
I'm going to give you the answer.
I'm asking you, I don't know. Don't tell me.
We're going to read it out.
I'm asking you a question.
Let me show you what happened to us, because just like when we came off the slave ships, when you see Kunta Kinte, they changed his name over to Toby. That happened to all of us. Everything that we know, we've been taught here in America by our oppressors. We have never, so you got to think about it. You got the Baptist Church. The Baptist Church is still up and running, right? Nat Turner was teaching a Baptist religion, but when he actually read the Bible for himself, what did he find out? They was lying to him. That's what he found out. That's why he went on a revolt. So if he found that out, well, I don't know what year, I can't remember what year Nat Turner was on earth, but he actually read the Bible for himself. He said, man, these people lying to me. It was
What's my man out?
1831. So he found that out by reading himself. So now watch this right here. Read that.
This is the Jews and Moors in Spain,
So
page
this date,
217.
so this date is 1887 of this book. So now I want you to see what was happening to us back then.
He thought he could force the parents
Hold on, I
to...
want him to listen to this. Watch this. Listen to what happened to us.
This is the Jews and Moors in Spain, page 217.
1887.
He thought he could force the parents to embrace Christianity
So this is what they were trying to force on us back then. Read.
and to remain. It be once succeeded in getting all their children into his power
Watch what they did.
and into the Christian faith. He gave secret orders for the repetition of the atrocious crime of having all children under 14 years of age seized from their mother's bosom and
How old are
father's
you?
arms.
How old are you? You 12? So they would snatch your son. In this time, they were snatching our kids. He said 14 and under because they still impressionable. So just like now, they trying to bring the LGBT into the schools because they want to get them young because they can put that impression on their brain. Watch this read.
He gave secret orders for the repetition of the atrocious crime of having all children under 14 years of age seized from their mother's bosom and father's arms, dispersed through the kingdom to be baptized and brought up as Christians.
You see that? Keep reading.
The secret became known. Portugal again re-echoed the wails of stricken ones.
Watch this.
Frantic mothers threw their children into deep wells of water, rivers.
So our foreparents would take their children and throw them in the wells to keep them away from the white folks back then. Watch this read.
Mothers were known to take their babies from their breasts and tear them limb from limb, rather to resign them to Christians.
Keep reading.
They would rather know the bodies of their children in the grave and their released spirit in heaven than have them adopt a faith into which Satan sent his friends.
You see that? So they said the religion that they was given was sent by Satan. That's what our foreparents said back then, because they knew what they was being taught was against God. So just like we showing you the Sabbath day is Saturday, right? What day do they have us going to church on? Sunday. So what's the opposite? So anti-Christ is being in opposition to Christ. What is the opposite of the first day of the week? The last day of the week. So that's the exact opposite. What is the opposite of a black Christ? A white Christ. What's the opposite of you shouldn't celebrate Christmas?
Celebrate.
There you go. All of that is flipped. So the history books, and we got to come back to the Bible. So just like I was saying, in Christianity, they say the Old Testament is done away with. Why do they say that? Because they don't want you to understand what you're really supposed to do. So just like 1 Samuel 7:3. So a lot of us celebrate Easter, right? So let's read about Easter in the Bible. Let's see what, this is in the Old Testament. This is talking about Easter. And then we're going to see what Christ celebrated in the spring.
What chapter?
1 Samuel chapter 7 verse 3.
Watch this.
And Samuel spake unto all the house of Israel, saying, If ye do return unto the Lord with all your hearts, then put away the strange gods and Ashtaroth.
So one of the gods' name is Ashtaroth. The god of Ashtaroth is, guess what? Easter. You know what the god of Easter is? What that's about? the god of Easter is about fertility. She's a fertility goddess. That's why you got the eggs and the rabbit. They represent fertility. It don't have nothing to do with Christ being raised from the dead, because they give you the lie that he died on a Friday and that he rose on a Sunday morning. That's not 3 days and 3 nights. That's a day and a half. You understand that? So that whole thing is a lie. So the question is, what holiday did Christ celebrate in the spring? What holiday do you think he celebrated?
In the spring.
In the spring, what holiday did Christ celebrate?
What, Easter?
No.
In the spring.
We just read that Samuel said don't celebrate Easter. That's what Samuel just said. So in the spring, what holiday did he celebrate? Go to Matthew 26 and because we supposed to follow him. 26 and I think it's 17. So let's see what holiday that we celebrate. Do we actually all celebrate this holiday as being followers of Christ of the Bible?
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 17. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover?
Watch what Jesus said, read.
And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The master saith, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples.
So we all celebrate the Passover. We don't celebrate Easter because God says not to celebrate Easter. That's a pagan holiday. So just like we read,
What's the Passover?
that's us being delivered out of Egypt. That's what that's in celebration of with Moses.
I know. What day is that to you?
What day is that? Let's get it out of the Bible. Leviticus 23.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at even
So
is
that's
the
in the
Lord's
springtime.
Passover.
That's what it is right there.
The first day.
In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover.
So the Passover starts at, God's days start at sunset. That's when a new day starts. So now,
Which
oh,
day is that?
what you mean? That's any day. Every day at sunset is a new day. That's how the days start with God. So now I want to read this right here. Let's get this right here. Get this cover of this book and read that. We're going to deal with Christmas a little bit. We're going to see what the scholars say.
The Two Babylons, page 93. Upright men strove to stem the tide, but in spite of all their efforts, the apostasy went on till the church, with the exception of a small remnant, was submerged under pagan superstition. That Christmas was originally a pagan festival
Watch this.
is beyond all doubt. The time of the year and the ceremonies with which it still celebrated proves its origin. In Egypt, the son of Isis, the Egyptian title for the Queen of Heaven, was born at this very time, about the time of the winter solstice.
See that? So Christmas is all witchcraft. That's why a lot of times if you look at a lot of the Christian ceremonies, like especially if you're overseas, like I'm gonna show you all this right here, how Christmas is celebrated. Because in America, you couldn't even celebrate Christmas until the 1800s because it was so violent and everything in its origins. Matter of fact, they made a movie about it, the movie Purge. That's based on Christmas. A lot of people don't know that. So now when you look at how Christmas is celebrated, I want y'all to see how Christmas is celebrated still in its origins overseas. So now this right here, this is how it's celebrated in its origins. You see that right there? My man, I want you to see that video. That's how they celebrate Christmas over in Europe, how it's originally celebrated. Now this beast right here is called the Krampus. This is a representation of us because what they were doing is they were mocking us after they conquered us in Spain, and they said that if the children were bad, the evil black people would come back and take you. And they would depict us as monsters, and one of the monsters is called the Krampus. So this is what they would do. So now if the children are bad, they get taken by this demon right here. That's what Christmas is about. Is it Switzerland or somewhere over there? Where they got the Netherlands. They got Black Pete over there. So Santa's helper in the Netherlands is Black Pete, where they got a white man and blackface. I'm gonna show you that. Black Pete. Let's pull that up. I'm gonna show you. They still doing this stuff to this day. Like they still celebrating this stuff. And this is the stuff that they don't see. Here it is right here.
Wow, blackface became a Dutch holiday tradition. Every November in the Netherlands, people do it. the streets dressed as old Saint Nick and his little helpers. I like that. That's New York City. In the Netherlands, it looks like this. This is Sinterklaas or Saint Nicholas, and this is his little helper, Zwarte Piet.
You see that?
Like Pete, he's a character.
That's what Christmas is about. So over in America, they changed it to L. But over there, when they celebrated originally, that's how it's celebrated. But that's why God tells us don't celebrate it, because it's an evil holiday. We're not supposed to celebrate that. Like all our kids, we celebrate Hanukkah and they have a good time. The problem is when we think about Hanukkah, we think about the people that's in Israel. But they've stolen all our holidays, all of our heritage, everything. All that belongs to us. That land belongs to us. That's why when we go back to Revelations 2 and 9 again. So I want you to really pay attention to what Christ, this is Christ speaking right here. What is Christ saying right here?
Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
So he's letting you know the people that's calling themselves the Jews, what are they? They're the synagogue of Satan. They control our media. They control the banking system. They control the insurance companies. Who control all of that? That's the synagogue of Satan. So and then when you come out and claim your heritage like somebody of influence, like Kanye West, or whether you be Kyrie Irving, you put that out there, what do? They're going to come down on you with full force. Because what's the image they want portrayed to our young men? They want Nas X for him. For the women, they want what? Sexy Red. Because they do what? They control our image. You understand that? Everything that's out about us is controlled by somebody else. So like if we go out of the country, they only know what they see on TV. That's how they depict us. That's how they want us to pick. And guess what? They want your son, they want him to grow up like Nas X. That's why you seeing a lot of the rappers now, what do they do when they turning them gay? You seeing that? They want the sisters to grow up what? After Sexy Red, after Glorilla. They got, because who controls the channels of the music industry to come up? That's what Kanye was talking about. He said, I can't put out the kind of music I want to put out because these people control the music. You had Ice Cube say the same thing. These people control the music. So you had Harvey Weinstein, all these kind of people. Jeffrey Epstein, all these kind of, now his stuff coming out. So if you become influential like a Chris Tucker or somebody like that, you got a lot of influence over the people. You got to go down to Epstein's Island and deal with children, and they got to videotape it. Because they don't want you speaking out of your mouth, because guess what's going to happen when you start saying something they don't want you to say? The tape going to drop. So they ain't going to let nobody, all the people that you see, that's what Cat Williams is talking about, all the people that you see that's up, that can make it, well, they all got to watch what they say because they all got something on those people. They control those people. So, but what he say? I'm not controlled. That's why he can speak the way he speaks. His interview just came out. You see the interview? So why you think he can talk like that? Because they ain't got nothing on him. He ain't take the deal. What happened when Dave Chappelle left and went to Africa or whatever? You don't think they made him an offer like that when he became real popular? He turned down $50 million. You think that's all they was trying to do was give him $50 million? You start having influence, they like, nah, we can't have people saying things that we don't control. We need to keep everybody in the box. You understand that? Because these people are the ones. Go to Job 9:24. I'm going to show you something. This is what God said. Because who running the world right now?
Job lost everything he got. That's the life of my soul.
Who's running the world? Like the race of people that's running the world. Just keep it 100. White people. So now let's see what the Bible says.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Hold on, the earth is what?
Given into the hand of the wicked.
And what the wicked do?
He covereth the faces of the judges.
He do what?
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
So he covered the faces of the judges. The judges in the Bible are the Israelites. So he's the one that's covering our history and our heritage. They say if it ain't him, who is it? Who's the one that's keeping us in bondage and at the bottom of society? Who the one that set up the welfare system? Who the one that bring the drugs into our community with the CIA? Who the one that tore up the Black Panthers, Martin Luther King, killed Malcolm X? Who did that? Who run the government? The white man. That's it. That's it. So, and this is why they hide our history, because according to the Bible, this is who he is. I want you to come look at this, brother. You see this right here? This is his forefather right here. His forefather is Esau. You see that right there? So when you go all the way down to the bottom, you see these are Greeks and Romans. You see this, brother? This is original King James Bible. So they taking this out of the Bible. This is the white man's forefather right here. You see that? See that all the way right here? That's Antipater, Herod. Those are all white folks right there. I want you to pay attention to that. You see where that say Idumean? You see that right there? You see this right here where it say Idumean? You see that? Idumean? Go to Ezekiel 36 and 5. So now, remember, Idumean, right? Watch this right here. Watch this right here.
Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen.
Watch this.
And against all Idumea.
Against all who?
Idumea.
Watch this.
Which have appointed my land into their possession.
So God is letting you know that the Idumeans are the ones that control Israel right now. They took the land. This is what God is saying right here. So according to the Bible, the Idumeans are sent from who? From Esau. Esau is who today? The so-called white man. You understand that? So now watch this right here. Go to Isaiah 34. So now watch this. So now when Christ come back, he's not coming. In Christianity, they teach you he saved everybody, right? That's what they say, right? Christ saving everybody when he come back. All nations, everybody.
Isaiah 34.
Isaiah 34. We're going to start at 2. Yeah, read that too.
Isaiah chapter 34, verse 2.
Watch this.
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations.
So watch this. So this is a prophecy about Christ returning.
And his fury upon all their armies.
You read.
He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses. And the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved. And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
So you ever seen a mushroom cloud, a nuclear? That's what he's describing, because nuclear destruction is coming to America. That's what Isaiah is saying. That's all throughout the Bible. Read it.
And all their hosts shall fall down.
So all the aircraft, the satellites, everything gonna come out of the sky. Watch this.
As the leaf falleth from the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree.
Now we're gonna get to the point.
Verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven.
So the heaven is talking about the rulers of the earth. It's not actually talking about like the sky. Now he's talking about the rulers of the earth. Watch this.
Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea.
Who's it coming down upon?
Idumea.
Read.
And upon all the people of my curse to judgment.
So why did he say Idumean was the people of the curse? Why do you think he said that? I'm going to tell you right now. Go to Numbers 12 and 10. Because what's the standard of beauty in America? We're talking about an American beauty. I'm not talking about our standard. I'm saying as America as a whole, what picture would you paint for America's beauty? What would they say for a woman?
We going down
Numbers 12 and 10. So what would you say that woman, they would depict that woman to look like?
A white woman.
Well, what? How would she look?
Small.
Nah, I'm talking about maybe like, like blonde hair, blue eyes. Would that be like a Marilyn Monroe, right? It's Marilyn Monroe, like a blonde hair, blue eyes. Let's see what the Bible says.
Numbers chapter 12 and verse 9. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
Hold on, she became what?
Leprous, white as snow.
She became white, because Miriam was black, so she became white as snow. Read.
And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed.
So he's saying that white skin, she look like she's dead, like her flesh is consumed. That's a curse. So now go to Leviticus 13 and 29. Watch this. So we dealt with the skin color. So he's saying that thing is off, that white skin, because white people can't go out in the sun. They ain't got no melanin. That's a curse. You can't go out in the sun. You got to put lotion on just to go outside. We ain't got to do that. No other nation got to do that. Watch this right here.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 29. If a man or a woman have a plague upon the head or the beard.
So we're talking about a plague, whether it be on your head or your beard.
Then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, If it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair.
So yellow thin hair. So yellow, blonde is a French word for yellow. So we talking about blonde hair.
Then the priest shall announce him unclean.
You see that?
It is a dry scowl, even a leprosy upon the head or beard.
So now go back to Isaiah 34 and 5.
Isaiah chapter 34 verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse, to judgment.
So now, when Christ come back, he's going to destroy that nation of people. So just like when we got delivered out of Egypt, he destroyed the Egyptians. He's going to do the same thing to the nation of Edom. When he come back, he coming back to deliver his people. In Christianity, they teach you he coming back to save everybody. But that's not what the Bible say. Nowhere in the Bible can you read about God coming back to save everybody. He's coming back to save his people. His people only. That's it.
People. He come back to save the people that have been born again.
No, he coming back to save the Israelites.
It's his people. Like, okay, I was baptized, right? And I was born again when I was baptized. You understand what I'm saying? You follow me?
I'm listening to you. Go ahead. Explain.
When I was baptized, Jesus Christ. I believe in Jesus Christ. He died for my sins. So when I was baptized,
What is the white man telling you?
I gave my life back over to Christ.
Okay.
Okay. When the Lord comes back, he's coming back for the people that believes in him.
How do you show you believe in God?
How do I say I believe in
Yeah,
God?
I'm saying, how do you show that? How can we show we believe in God? Get that in.
How do I show that I believe in God?
Yeah, according to the Bible.
According to the Bible.
Yeah.
Because I walk by faith and not by sight.
Okay.
One.
Well, let's see.
Go ahead. You
Go
tell
ahead,
me.
read. We're gonna read this.
Sirach chapter 32 verse 24.
Where
He
you at?
that believeth, the book of Ecclesiasticus, he that believeth in the Lord taketh heed to the commandments.
So if you believe in God, you show that by keeping the commandments. That's how we show we believe in God. So now, what we're talking about is, now go to Amos 9 and 8. So I'm going to show you something, because if we in Christianity, we're not born again. If you're in Christianity, if you going to church on Sunday, you celebrating Christmas and Easter, you're not born again. Amos 9 and 8. That's because you got to understand that's the Antichrist doctrine. And if we follow in the Antichrist, it's contrary to. Yeah, go ahead.
Not to cut you off. What's the guy? He doesn't celebrate Christmas either. He's a pastor out of Baltimore. He's on YouTube. You know what I'm talking about?
Nah, I'm not sure. There's a lot of people that don't celebrate Christmas because it's being exposed. But at the end of the day, it's a commandment that we keep the holidays that Christ kept, because those are Sabbaths. You understand that? So just like it's a commandment for us to go to church on the Sabbath, it's a commandment for you to celebrate the Passover. It's a commandment. 9 and 8. Yeah, read that.
Amos chapter 9 verse 8.
Watch this.
Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom.
So this is about the United States. God is looking at, because this is the last empire that's ruling the earth.
And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
Keep reading.
Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord.
So he's not going to destroy all the Israelites, but watch this right here. Here's the key.
For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations.
So he's going to take us out of all the nations. He's not taking everybody out of all the nations. Read.
Like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
Watch this.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
So what does it mean to be a sinner? What do you think it means to be a sinner? It says all the sinners of my people, meaning the Israelites, going to die by the sword. What does that mean? If you're a sinner, what does that mean? What does it mean being a sinner?
Going against the Ten Commandments.
Okay.
Well,
What do you say?
not following Christ, not following the word. Being a sinner, like we're born in this sin.
Okay. But what does it mean to be a sinner, though? That don't mean you got to stay in sin.
No, it doesn't mean that you have to stay in. To be a sinner, I mean,
I'm going to get the definition. Let's read it.
1 John chapter 3 verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
So that didn't say commandments, that's the laws, all the laws.
John 1 John what?
3 and 4.
3 and 4. So when you break God's laws, you're a sinner. So we're supposed to keep all the laws. In Christianity, they teach you ain't got to keep no laws. You're under grace. So my question is, if that's what's taught, what's the job of the Antichrist? Is he going to tell you got to keep the laws or you don't got to keep the laws? What do you think he's going to say? What was the Antichrist teach? You got to do what God said or you don't got to do what God said? All right, my man. Okay, so what Christianity teaches is you don't have to keep the laws no more. You're under grace. That's an Antichrist doctrine. Because they say you ain't under the laws no more. That's the Old Testament. That's what you said. The Old Testament. But let's read it again.
It's saying because like you're forgiven for your sins is like.
How you forgiven? The grace is different.
Yeah.
Grace is different because you didn't have grace under Moses.
Right.
Under Moses, if you got caught committing adultery, you got killed. The grace is now under Christ, you get a chance to repent. But you can't remain in adultery.
Right.
You got to repent and turn away from that sin.
Every day.
Yeah, but it don't really work like that.
It don't really work like that.
Let's get Hebrews 10. I'm going to show you it don't work like that. Because a lot of people think that God roll like that. He don't roll like that. Watch this right here. Hebrews 10 and 26. This is what the Bible says.
Chapter 10, verse 26. For if we sin willfully...
So hold on. If you do what?
Sin willfully.
If you sin and willfully, meaning you commit adultery, forgive me, God, and the next day you commit adultery, watch what happens.
After that, we have received the knowledge of the truth.
After you learn you ain't supposed to do that,
there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins.
Christ's blood ain't going to cover your sins. You're going to become a reprobate. He's not going to keep dealing with you if you're not, because that's showing you don't love him. So he's not going to deal with you. So you can't just willingly sin. So when you say I'm born again, that means you have to stop everything that you was doing to show you born again. Being born again is a change. I'm not going to recognize you for the person that you was. I'm going to see a completely different people. Like when our relatives look at all of us, they know we're not the same. Like I don't go to church on Sunday. I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate Easter. I don't do any of those things. I don't eat pork because the Bible says we ain't supposed to eat pork. I don't eat shellfish and all that. So when I'm out with them and they got pork, they know I don't eat no pork. If they have a gathering, I ain't eating no pork because God says don't eat pork. It's a judgment for eating pork. So like in Christianity, a lot of churches, they say you can eat pork, right? And then what they say? You heard that in churches. They have it in churches. They'll have bacon, ham hocks and all that in the church, won't they? Okay, so now let's get the law. Leviticus 11 and 7. So this is an example of sin.
But he also says,
Go ahead.
don't. You, if it comes down to it, then you have to eat whatever you have to eat.
That's not the understanding on that. That's not the right. That's Christianity to teach you that, but that's not what God says. I'm gonna show you the law, and then I'm gonna show you the consequences of breaking the law, because the wages of sin is what? Death. Okay, so we're gonna read that. Watch
Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you.
So now let's go to the judgment. You ain't supposed to eat swine. So in the church, we know a lot of pastors that eat swine. They teach you Christmas. You can eat swine, all of that. So now let's see what the judgment is.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15.
So watch, this is a future prophecy about the return of Christ. It's 17.
17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst.
So back in the day, they used to have church in the groves.
Where we at? Isaiah what?
66 and 17. They had church in the groves behind like a tree stump. This is how they had their services. Watch this. Yeah, go ahead.
For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many.
Watch this.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst.
Because God ain't sanctified swine. But what do you see the pastors doing? God bless this food. We're about to eat all of this and that. Watch this.
Eating swine's flesh.
What are they doing?
Eating swine's flesh.
What else?
And the abomination.
That's all your shellfish, your shrimp. Because in America, what? Lobster's a delicacy. God says abomination. Watch this, read.
And the mouse.
So down south you got rabbits, squirrels, possums. They eat all that down south, right? That's the mouse. Watch this.
Shall be consumed together.
Hold on,
saith-
I thought they could eat all that. What's gonna
Shall
happen?
be consumed together, saith the
They're
Lord.
gonna be destroyed when Christ comes back. But in the church, they tell you just pray over that food clean. You can eat it. But we just read in the Bible, you're gonna get judged for that. You understand that? So everything that's in the church is what I'm telling you, brother. That's why when you go to Matthew 18 and
Hold on
3.
real quick. Let me get this real quick. I'm gonna let you finish cooking up here. Did you get Job 14:4?
Nah, I ain't get that. You can get that.
Yeah, watch this. Because the pastor says that he's sanctifying something that God deemed unclean.
Job 14:4.
Yeah, we're gonna read Job 14:4. Watch this.
For Job 14:4. Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean?
So Job is asked a question. What man can bring something clean from something unclean?
Not one.
If God calls something unclean, no man can sanctify what God called unclean.
And you got to think about it. That law been here forever because Noah, he loaded the animals on the ark are clean and unclean. You understand that? So God ain't never changed nothing. It's the churches that's changing stuff that's lying on God. So Ezekiel 22 and 26. And I'm going to show you the prophecy about that. So because a lot of pastors teach what? Go to church on Sunday. You can eat pig. Also what? Celebrate Christmas and Easter. Now here's the prophecy about those pastors.
22
And 26.
verse 26. Her priests have violated my law
So the pastors are clearly violating God's laws.
and have profaned mine holy things.
So his holy things is the Passover, Hanukkah, because we just read Christ kept all of that. The Sabbath. Keep reading.
They have put no difference between the holy and profane.
So they don't put no difference between those, like for example, like the holidays. They don't put no difference between that.
Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean.
Because you'll go to a church, they'll have beef, chicken, then you'll have seafood salad with all kind of abominations in there, and you'll have ham hocks and all that stuff. They don't have no difference. All that's the same. Watch this.
And have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths.
So it said they hid the eyes from the Sabbath. So what day do they go to church on? What day do the pastors go to church on? Because it says, God says that those pastors would hide their eyes from the Sabbath. They go to church on Sunday. So they hide their eyes from the Sabbath. So this is a prophecy about your modern pastor right here. That's what God is saying. Like, he's already letting you know what you're going to have to deal with. So we got to recognize it because we got to come back and say, okay, what does God say that we supposed to do? And then you observe that, and then you look at the church that you at and see if they doing that. If they not doing that, they not of the Lord. They got to be able to justify everything they do with the Bible. They just can't come out and do things, and they can't justify it.
Right.
You got something else?
Yeah, let me get him Jeremiah 7 and 8. Watch this. It's the same thing that he's saying here. And as a result of these lying pastors, what do we do as a people? You see people literally pay to be entertained on Sunday. They collecting what the pastor calls tithes. We were showing Zoe that tithes only supposed to be collected every 3 years, and it was never money. Watch this though. But this is what our people do.
Jeremiah chapter 7 verse 8. Behold, ye trust in lying words that cannot profit.
Hold on. What does the Bible say about the black man and black woman do what?
Behold, ye trust in lying words that cannot profit.
We trust in lying words that cannot profit. That go all the way to your politicians as well. But we as a people, we trust in lying words that cannot profit us. Come on.
Verse 8. Behold, verse 9. Will ye steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely?
So that's what's going on in the church. You got boyfriend, girlfriend. You got stealing and collecting tithes, and that's stealing people's money. You got boyfriend and boyfriend. You got all types of stuff in the church. Come on.
And burn incense unto Baal.
You said they even like the little candles in there. Baal means the devil. Because that Sunday church service is of the devil. Meaning what? Deceiver. That's all that means, because God said Saturday, they in there on Sunday. They got a white image of Christ and teaching a white doctrine, but Christ's description is a dark-skinned man with white woolly hair. Come on.
And walk after other gods.
And do what?
Walk after other gods.
That's Caesar Borgia. Come on. And Satan.
Whom ye know not.
Our people, we didn't know that because God didn't give that to us. Come on.
Let's see the Borgia.
And
Right?
That's what we walk after. Sunday service, when they lighting the candles and doing all that.
That's Caesar Borgia.
That's Caesar Borgia, and who was over him? Satan. Come on.
Verse 10.
That's Sunday service right there.
And come stand before me in this house,
So they come stand before the law, the God in these churches. What do they say?
which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered to do all these abominations.
They say, the Lord blessed us to do all. They don't say all this evil, but they say, God has sent me a vision. God ain't dealing with them. They say, Sister Mary running around that car 7 times, smelling interior, naming and claiming you'll have it. But Sister Mary got to give this brother his money. He don't ever run around a sanctuary and name and claim his money. He say, nah, you got to give me that. While you run out there and sniff the car and roll around, all the foolish stuff. We seen the garbage. Come on.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is